Hello, everyone. I'm Bill Hanifin, the managing editor of The Wise Marketer, and I'm here with Jenn Mcmillen, who's founder of Incendio and now VP of Loyalty at Nothing But Cake. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Which part?
I know I got Jenn Mcmillen right.
Yeah.
Tell,
No, it
tell
is.
me
It's
that.
nothing but nothing but cakes. And I had to look it up when I joined, but it's a German. I know it's a weird word. It's German, and it's actually short for Bundt, which translates to community cake.
I love it. And be guaranteed I'm going to be ordering some as soon as I figure out how to find them. And once maybe they'll even have a loyalty program one day. Who knows? I don't know. But
Maybe.
yeah, okay. Hey, we're here because the Loyalty Summit CXM is scheduled for February 5th and 6th. It's going to be in Beverly Hills at the Beverly Hilton. And I guess all the natural disasters of the fires are kind of calming down. We have assurance that everything is go and really good over there. So we're looking forward to it. The theme of the conference this year is Innovating Loyalty. It's about time. And, our mutual friend, Phil Rubin, who's the conference chair, had a passion for this whole idea of loyalty being stuck, and he's trying to get it unstuck. And so the agenda is really built around how do we get loyalty unstuck, and what are the things we need to do to bring loyalty up into more of a C-suite kind of reception, and what do we do to differentiate? Because ironically, I feel like most people that you talk to, your present company included, would say like, "Hey, our company's brand is differentiated. We're set apart from others." But then all too often, our loyalty strategy is not set apart from others. So there's a lot of work to be done. I know you've been in this customer business for a long time, Jenn, and I have a lot of respect for you. But why do you think the theme is important right now as a kickoff to 2025? And what are your expectations for the event?
I mean, loyalty programs have become ubiquitous. That is, technology has been not only the great enabler, but also the great leveler as well. And, I've been doing this since the stone ages of loyalty when Blockbuster Rewards, right, way back in the 90s, was one of the first programs that I built and launched. And what was unique then, right, was that it was one of the first programs that wasn't hotel, airline, or car rental, right? Because loyalty was the province of travel for such a long time. So
Right.
now, I mean, even, your yogurt shop and, your corner store has a loyalty program because, if you've got the right POS, they've got a loyalty module and you can do it. So, to your question of why we need to differentiate is that every brand needs a differentiator or you can be copied. And that is where, having people who actually are practitioners in the loyalty space is important because, if you look at your competitor's program and you copy it, well, then you know what? That's just a race to the bottom. And it's basically the dumbest person ends up at the bottom first. Not only did you, erode your margin, but you also didn't do anything to help yourself. So, I would say I'm going to go the Spider-Man route and say knowledge is power. And knowledge by default data and what we collect out of loyalty programs is what makes us powerful marketers.
And we are thinking alike. And now you're part of a roundtable on the topic of making loyalty work in really complex retail environments. I call it a distributed sales environment where you have B2B2C or different levels, franchise distribution models. I think the title of the panel is Making Ownership and Distribution Complexity Irrelevant for Customers. Those are big words, but what are the
Right.
key points of the discussion that you're going to cover, and who should really be making sure they don't miss this one?
Sure. I mean, to your point, customers don't care. And they don't know if you're a 100% franchise business, whether you're a 100% corporate owned, store model, or whether you're a hybrid. And, the challenge is always, I've come out of both environments with my time at, Michael's and GameStop and now at Nothing Bundt, where we have all different models. And, it's always a challenge to get your field partners at 100% compliance, incredibly more difficult when you are in a franchise model. And for that, right, the brand is the brand to a consumer. And that's where you need to step up your game, basically, and for instance, use the data that you have to make sure that, we're hitting the core elements of loyalty, right? Personalization, relevancy, etc.
It's good. Yeah, I've worked in some of those like 3-tier and also franchise
Yeah.
models, and it can be treacherous, really, even just to get in the franchise environment. Compliance, cooperation, right? I think we've
Yeah.
seen large franchise organizations have a great loyalty model, but it's not adopted widely enough to get good good traction with consumers. So there are a lot of risks involved, right?
Agree.
Yeah. Okay. This is going to be a great event. It's around the corner. It's going to be a fantastic way to get some knowledge and make some connections. There's going to be some great networking to make this 2025 a great year. Jenn, I appreciate you joining me and spending a little bit of time. And just thanks, and I'll see you there.
Yes, join us for our roundtable discussion. I'll be joined by AMC Networks and also PB Five Star, which if you are in the pickleball space, you absolutely know who they are. But if pickleball is not on your radar, then I hope you'll come and we'll talk about movies, pickleball, and cake.
That's great. All right. You see everybody at Loyalty Summit CXM. Welcome, everyone. I'm Bill Hanifin, the managing editor of The Wise Marketer, and I'm here today with Phil Rubin, who's the founder of Gray Space Matters, and he's also the conference chair for the Loyalty Summit CXM, which is coming up next week, actually in February 5 and 6 at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, California. Phil, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited about February.
I am too. I am too. This is the beginning of the year. It's not quite what I would call conference season, but it's appropriate that this is the first big event of the year because it's going to be, I think, the most significant. It's also going to break a lot of new ground. So I'm excited about it.
Thanks. I am too. It's been a lot of work, but it's remarkable that we put some of these ideas out there and asked a lot of people to come and share their ideas and their perspectives relating to what we're going to talk about. And I hate to even say this because I'm somewhat superstitious at times, but the amount of people that said yes was incredible. And so the I'm obviously really happy and excited about the topics that we're going to cover on each of the different tracks and the overarching theme, and getting to sort of set that stage when we open it up on what is it, Wednesday the 5th.
Right.
But really, I'm excited to hear the discussions on stage and the interaction with the attendees, because that's really what is going to be the difference maker, I think, with this event this year.
Yeah, I agree. So, and the theme of this year's conference is Innovating Loyalty, quote, it's about time. Now, I know you had a big role in architecting the theme, and if I were to put it in my own words, it's just that we've been at this business for almost 50 years, if you think about modern loyalty marketing. And surprisingly, today, a lot of it is homogeneous, it's transactional. It's not always integrated into the CX, into the customer experience. Like, how does it impact my experience on the website or in the store? And the irony, I think, in all of this is that we know all the great brands that you've worked with, and that we know if you ask them what's their brand all about, one thing they'd always say is differentiating. We're trying to set ourselves apart. We've got a separate message. And then surprisingly, their loyalty strategy or their customer strategy is not always differentiating. So I know that's what we're going to be exploring a lot. And the term I've heard you use a lot is about getting loyalty unstuck. So when you think about getting loyalty unstuck, I think we also need to get unstuck at these events and talk about some different topics. So why do you think the theme that you created, essentially, why is it so important as a way to get 2025 kicked off?
Well, you made the point, which I totally agree with. I mean, we're close to half a century since the very first modern loyalty program, at least the first airline program, which was 1979. And here we are in 2025. And having been there in the first decade, which is just how old I am, and was lucky enough to get into this business in the late 80s. I actually think we did a lot better job a long time ago, partly because we had to, because of what the unit costs were to connect with customers, to communicate with customers. And that was a big part of why loyalty and creating that one-to-one theoretical but permission-based relationship existed, to collect data, to be more relevant and use data to better serve customers, to get them to appreciate why your brand was not only different but better and offer the best experience of your brand commensurate with the value that customers provided back. So it was this reciprocity thing. And I think a
Hmm.
lot of that is missing. Um, I think a lot of loyalty is still largely misunderstood by a lot of people, including a lot of people in the industry. And
Hmm.
our your leadership with the Loyalty Academy, I'm not just I believe in that. Um, I believe in education, and so we're going to use this event as, especially because it's called a summit for a reason. It's not a
Right.
conference in the
Right.
sense that it's really interactive and it's very intimate. But this notion of innovating loyalty or getting loyalty unstuck, I firmly believe that loyalty is stuck. I think a lot of marketing is really stuck. And of course, everybody's looking at AI as the silver bullet for that. We will get into that with Yuping Liu Tompkins, who we both know, who runs
Hmm.
Loyalty Science Lab. She's going to share some great insights and perspectives around AI and this notion of artificial empathy, which gets to the heart of loyalty as an emotion and brand driven loyalty. We've got a bunch of CMOs that have been gracious enough to accept speaking invitations and come share their perspectives on loyalty from a brand perspective. So brands that actually are wired for loyalty. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
American Express was always like that, and they've always been a leader. I think I'm excited to hear what Pam Pelagian from Navy Federal Credit Union's going to talk about. Their tagline reads, "The members are our mission. Our members are the mission."
Yeah.
I just butchered that a little bit. Sorry, Pam. But that idea of the customer, or for them, the member being integral to the brand is just one of those things that
Hmm.
is a missed opportunity. It goes to just what you said, it goes to integration, but it also goes to the fact that, and I read this thing this morning from eMarketer that said consumers are bored with brands
Right.
and they fail to see differentiation like three-quarters of them, 75% of them, or 72% of them. And so if brands are failing to differentiate and loyalty strategies are ridiculously homogenous, then it's just it's a great opportunity for any leader out there who wants to do thing do something other than take the safe way,
Hmm.
which, as an old creative director that I worked with said, is a grocery store. But I think
Yes, it is.
leadership requires some courage, and
Right.
I think we as an industry have lost a lot of the courage to innovate and do things differently. And I think it creates incredible risks for a lot, but it creates
Hmm.
incredible opportunities for the ones that want to do something different.
I wonder if this folds into why this conference has been such a success in only its second year, because we were both at the inaugural event last year in Los Angeles. Here we are in year two, and I know you've gathered an incredible list of CEOs, CMOs, just senior leadership across brands and from the loyalty provider community. But uh, that doesn't just happen. Why do you think it's happened in this case?
I think we've got a lot of CMOs out there who understand the value of loyalty,
Hmm.
especially when you think about loyalty as making customers more willing to pay a premium to do business with a brand and to trust a brand. And because trust is so important today, uh, they have their own thoughts, but I think they really are coming because they want to learn and they want to hear from their peers.
Right.
They want to hear from some of the experts in the industry that we've got committed to sharing those ideas. But ultimately, the value of these things is twofold. Some of it's what are the discussions that are happening in the room during these sessions. We don't even have traditional keynotes. We've got very short, we call them hybrid keynotes, and it's maybe a 15, 20-minute presentation followed by
Right.
a discussion with that keynote presenter, a moderator, and essentially a roundtable. And and so that lends itself to just these more structured conversations on stage and with the audience, but also obviously what happens when everybody's not in the room, and it's a lot of great networking and a lot of good idea sharing. And that was what we heard after the first one in the Americas. The first one, which was also in LA at the Beverly Hilton, but people were wound up and they went away from their I think inspired, and the feedback that we got, I mean, the most negative feedback we got was there was too much content. And so we're skewing towards substance over form. Not that we want to, the priority is on the substance, the content, and having the right people in the mix. And we've got a lot of industries represented, a lot of range in terms of people and perspectives and approaches to loyalty. And obviously we'll have a lot of the tech providers there. We'll have some really good people talking about loyalty and finance, which is so important for marketing today. And hear about some people that are actually doing some more innovative things.
Yeah. I know people are still attentive to travel budgets, and I think there's some resistance to sending a team of people out to, quote, just another conference. So that's why it's so important to me. It's got to be, a number of elements, and you've brought them all together. So a good theme, good format, you get people together, the right people, and then you allow them a chance to network. And that's what it's all those things. I don't know if it's just one, but it's all. So I don't know, any other thoughts you want to leave us with? Otherwise, we're going to see each other next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I think the one thing I would add is, this thing is taking place in Los Angeles, where we've had these just devastating fires and so many, such a community impact. And, you and I have both spent way too much time in hurricane zones in our lives. And so we understand what that kind of, tragedy is like. We're definitely going to be recognizing that as part of the event. People's registration fees, some or all of their registration fees are going to go towards World Central Kitchen and the Humane Society from Pasadena, which feeding people and taking care of the animals that were impacted. And I think we may have kind of a surprise pop-up session that's going to address hear from some corporate leaders and how they're addressing being good members of their community, which I think, with sort of this shift away from the notion of stakeholder capitalism, which I still believe in, will be good for people to take away, because those people are customers, and when you help people when they need something and you show that kind of human side as a brand, that connects with people in ways that points, rewards, and discounts cannot. So
absolutely,
I'm excited about that piece too.
Yeah, very good. It's nice to know that we can bring the industry together and create value for each other, but also leave some residual value in the community. And I think that's really important. So
there will be a presentation, is my understanding. So
that's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you for your leadership in putting this whole event together. Thanks to Tommy Danielson and his crew at FT Events for being the sponsors behind it. But really, it wouldn't happen if you weren't the conference chair, is my belief. So thanks for your efforts there. And we'll see you February 5th and 6th in Los Angeles at the Beverly Hilton.
And thanks to you and Aaron and Wise Marketing Group, because you guys are a great partner for this and for a lot of other things. So I look forward to seeing you in LA.
Great. Thanks. We'll see you there. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, everybody.